Things are gonna get crazy!
Most everyone's mad.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a special and fun-filled episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. How are you all doing, everybody? I hope you all had a nice weekend, because I know that for me personally, I've had one that's a bit of a big deal, I could say. In fact, just yesterday, or the day before I am recording this, it was actually my birthday. And I will just go and say right now that I didn't go and do anything majorly extravagant. I didn't do anything too crazy, which is weird considering the name of this podcast. No, honestly, I didn't go and have like this epic adventure I went out to, or I didn't throw any major party or anything like that. The big thing that I've done is mostly just have a day off and mostly take care of myself while I was spending time with my family. And when you do get to my age, which, by the way, I'm 33 now, or if you're getting older, there is a point where you don't want to go like too extra with your birthday, and you mostly just want to have some time where you want to take care of yourself, where you gain more importance for self-care. And that's kind of what I did. I decided to go and dedicate the day to be a little bit more about self-care, to take care of myself, and to mostly take it easy. And just on a side note, I also want to go and give out a big thanks to everybody who has sent me birthday wishes during that time, or are still doing so, saying happy belated birthday. And oh, by the way, side note, thank you very much, JF, in which, as you said, be a birthday fish. So, yes, I want to go and give out a huge thanks to all the birthday wishes. It is very nice receiving all of that love in a massive amount like that. You guys are definitely the best, and is a good reminder of why I keep making these videos. A big reason, of course, is, to provide some fun-filled entertainment for you all, rather it be doing this podcast or just making one of my zany videos like reviews or animation look back and stuff like that. But we are not here for celebrations or birthday parties or anything like that. We are here to get into some wild animation news. And a lot of what I have here, oh boy, this is going to be a fiery episode in which we are going to be getting into a whole bunch of controversies. So strap yourselves in, folks, because this really is going to be a wild ride. But with that said, now I would like to pass this on to the chat wall. And I'd like to ask you all, are you ready for today's episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast? All right, so let me hear it, folks. Who is ready to start this thing? Let me see now. Oh, wow. I see people are prepared. I feel like people are all set. That is great to see. I'm glad to see that now everybody is prepared for this moment. And now, with that said, it is now time that we are about to go and get things started. Now, for our first story, or for our first couple of stories, before we do get into the controversies and into the meaty and heaty stuff of this entire episode, we are going to go and check out a couple of trailers. And the first one, I think, would be an interesting discussion, considering that recent... Ooh, excuse me. That's just a bit of my lunch suddenly coming back. But, as I was saying, considering that we recently, or not we, but the internet in general, had a bit of a discussion about this topic, where when it comes to Gen Z males, or young adult males, that seems to be the audience that Disney is having the hardest time to go and get, where they would much rather go and check out anything that is from anime than anything that is from Disney. And yes, that even includes the stuff from Star Wars and Marvel. So Disney is in a bit of a tricky situation in terms of trying to get that demographic to go and watch their content. However, it looks like there is one project where it may solve a bit of that issue, or at least they're hoping that it could go and solve it, especially when they are going to be blending their own brand with anime. And no, I am not talking about Star Wars with Star Wars Visions, considering that Volume 3 is going back to the formula of the first, where they're going to be getting many different Japanese animation studios to go and work on the different shorts. No. This one is a little bit more different, in which this is an anime that has the Disney brand in it. And we are going to go and check out the trailer that we have here. So, in order to go and begin this, we shall go and start things off by checking out the trailer for the upcoming anime, Disney Twisted Wonderland, the animation.
あなたは知っていますか？ディズニーの魅力的なディズニーツイステッドワンダーランドザ・アニメーション
And that is Disney Twisted Wonderland, the animation, to which it will be debuting on Disney Plus and Hulu on October 29th. Now, I will admit that maybe this is not necessarily fair to those who are only listening to this because, well, if you don't speak Japanese, then you don't know what the fridge was going on when you were listening to this trailer. But don't worry, this article here from Animation Magazine has got you covered, where I will go and explain to you what they are doing in here. So I'm just going to go and quickly read you the synopsis, in which it says, in the enchanted world of Twisted Wonderland, 7 legendary figures known as the Great Seven have been immortalized, based on 7 iconic Disney villains: the Queen of Hearts, the King of Beasts, or Scar, the Sea Witch, or Ursula, the Sorcerer of the Sands, or Jafar, the Fairest Queen, or the Evil Queen from Snow White, the King of the Underworld, or Hades, and the Thorn Fairy, or Maleficent. The acts of these individuals would eventually inspire the creation of 7 magical dormitories at Night Raven Academy, an elite academy for budding mages. Unaware of any of this, Yuken Enma, an ordinary high school student from Tokyo, suddenly finds himself transported to Night Raven College and immediately begins alienating its residents. Unable to wield magic, unsure of the customs, and stunned by the new reality he finds himself in, Yuken is forced to navigate this strange new world, searching for a way back home. Constantly finding himself tangled up in adventures with his troublemaking new classmates, Ace and Deuce, will Yuken be able to find his way home before incurring the wrath of the rose-red tyrant Riddle Rose Hearts? So basically, in this anime in particular, at least from what they're hinting, this is going to be one of 7 chapters of this entire anime that they're going to be going for. And in this one in particular, this will be completely themed to the Queen of Hearts from Walt Disney's and Alice in Wonderland. And also, to give you a little bit more of an idea of what Twisted Wonderland in general is about, there might be a bit of a chance that you may have heard of this before. So in case you're wondering where specifically, it even says here, produced by Umeta Company, Graphinica, Aniplex, and Walt Disney Animation Japan, the series is based on the hit mobile game published by Aniplex, originally released in Japan in 2020 and in North America in 2022. The title has surpassed 4.8 million downloads in Japan alone as of August of 2025. Black Butler manga creator Yana Toboso is credited with creating the original concept, scenario, and character designs for the anime adaptation. So yes, we are getting a Disney anime from the manga creator of Black Butler. So hopefully that should go and give you all a little bit of an idea of what this is about. Now, admittedly, I did hear a little bit about Twisted Kingdom before. Of course, as a Disney fan myself, eventually the idea of Twisted Kingdom would just go and immediately cross my paths. But personally, I never really thought much of it because I always thought like, okay, so it's like a Disney-themed anime. But looking more into the concept, it looks like it is a Disney anime, but it's specifically themed to the villains. And in a way, it's like, this is kind of like Disney's version of Harry Potter, where you do have that Harry Potter theme going on, but instead of the 4 dorms in Hogwarts, you got the 7 dorms that are in Night Raven Academy, all to go and create this massive theme of the Disney villains. And then you got these anime twink boys that are inspired by the Disney villains, including Riddle Roseheart, who is very similar to the Queen of Hearts, where he rules the dorm and is also very hot-tempered as well. So that's pretty much the main idea of it. And not to mention that, yeah, I definitely do believe that in Japan, this is a pretty popular franchise. In fact, I remember when I was in Tokyo, when I was back in Japan in the spring of this year, I remember I saw, like, I was walking to go to my way to Tokyo Disneyland, and as you are going in that specific direction to go to the train station that would lead you to Tokyo Disneyland, I remember, like, you see more and more ads that are related to Disney. So, of course, like, you got a few, like, of the Disney gachapons that they would go and advertise. But a good part of it is that they would go and advertise Twisted Kingdom. Like, it is a prominent franchise that they have going on there, considering that it is Disney or Disney villains, but especially crafted for Japanese audiences. So eventually, with how big and successful Twisted Kingdom has become, eventually an anime would go and be made. And by watching it, I don't know if, for me personally, this would be considered like an absolute must watch if I gotta go and check it out. I feel like for me, because like the thing is that from watching this trailer, it feels a lot more like it is anime more so than something that would be like distinctively Disney. I feel like honestly, I would just wait and see until what the experts of anime would actually go and say about this. If they believe this is a great combination of both the Disney villains brand and that anime aesthetic. And I mean, I am also familiar with Black Butler. I've heard a lot of great things about it. So having the manga creator come in to go and work on the anime, honestly, that does seem like a pretty positive sign. But from what I'm seeing here, like I said before, this feels like this is the start of something that they really want to go and expand upon, because from what we've seen in this trailer, we've only been seeing the Alice in Wonderland dorm, and we've been fully introduced to one of the main characters, or at least the main head of that particular dorm, who is very much like the Queen of Hearts in Alice in Wonderland. Now, is there actually going to be like a massive direct connection to the Disney villains? Will we see those Disney villain elements in there? Like, even when looking back into the trailer, like the most that I've seen is that, yeah, there will be a few times where they will mention the Queen of Hearts, or I remember there was at one point where they would go, yeah, like this shot right over here. Like, I don't know if this is just going to be in the in the opening of the anime or something, but you see a mirror where is it Riddle Roseheart's his name? Yeah, like you see Riddle Roseheart's who's standing in front of a mirror, and he sees the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland. So I don't know if there will be that direct tie-in to the Disney movie in particular, or if it's mostly going to be its own thing. But honestly, even for me, I gotta say that it is going to be more or less of a wait and see kind of thing. But then again, I just want to get this out of the way right now, because I know some people might go and immediately comment this, and I get it if there are some people out there whom they still have their trust issues with Disney, and that they were part of the nearly 2 million people who have unsubscribed to Disney Plus. And I mean, I get it. I'm not telling you to go and resubscribe to Disney Plus. I completely understand your sentiments. And if you don't feel like you're ready to go and resubscribe to Disney Plus, or if you're ever going to do that, I definitely do get it, but it's just, it's just this thing kind of popped up, and I just wanted to go and have a bit of a discussion about Twisted Wonderland. And maybe there are some of you out there who are probably more familiar with Twisted Wonderland than I would. It's just, for me, I find it funny considering that this is something that I've prominently seen in Japan, where, yes, they are fans of Twisted Wonderland, and now coming back here and then seeing, oh, now there's going to be a full-on anime adaptation. I guess we will see how things are going to go with it. So overall, if you are excited to go and check out Disney Twisted Wonderland, the animation, then keep in mind it will be debuting on Disney Plus and on Hulu on October 29th. So with that said, now I would like to pass this on to the chat wall, and I'd like to ask you all, what did you all think about the trailer that we have seen of Twisted Wonderland, the animation? Are you guys interested in checking this out? Are you guys hyped up to see what this is all about? Or especially if you are a fan of Twisted Wonderland, or if you're really familiar with Twisted Wonderland, like if you've previously played the games or have consumed anything from Twisted Wonderland, I would love to know your thoughts. In fact, let's go a little bit more interesting, and I want to do something here. And I'm going to go and write down a poll, actually. I want to go and ask you all, let's see, will you be watching Twisted Wonderland? So I'll go and write down yes, and then I'll write down no, and then we'll see what the chat has to say about this. All right, so I wasn't expecting this, but this is really something. Not only is the animation stellar, but this whole thing is giving me major Kingdom Hearts vibes. Whether intentional or not, this is still super cool. But a part of me is confused, since I thought Twisted Wonderland was a 2026 movie starring Brady, or was that Wicked Wonderland I'm thinking of? Oh well, they're both Disney projects about the offspring of the Queen of Hearts. Why are we all splitting hairs? Or why are we all splitting heads at that point? No, but you are definitely correct. I mean, one major credit I forgot to go and mention, like, one thing that is so far pretty solid is that the animation definitely does look nice. It does look very impressive, and like with animes in general, they definitely go extra more so than they would in Western cartoons. And in this case here, yeah, like you would you definitely see all the intricate details that went into crafting this, especially when crafting the dorm of the Queen of Hearts, where you see it does have elements that do reflect upon the Queen of Hearts kingdom in Disney's Alice in Wonderland, especially like one part that does define, like, oh, you could feel that dude is a lot like the Queen of Hearts, even before before he lost his temper and very strict with his rules, and it's like, I will behead you all, and stuff like that, is when he mentioned that all the roses are red and all the tablecloth is white. It's like, okay, you could tell the dude shares a similar vibe to the Queen of Hearts, or this dude is probably the biggest simp to the Queen of Hearts out there. All right, let's see what other comments are there. As someone who likes watching anime, given the limited selection of anime content on Disney Plus, never heard of this series till now, but I find this to be an interesting concept despite the isekai type and school setting tropes. I think it may be worth considering, hopefully, if they manage to portray the story and characters in a uniquely tasteful way and not just Disney and anime tropes mashed together, despite the loose adaptations from its basis. All right, so we got an idea of a possibility that maybe people could be open up to it, so that's definitely good. Let's see. When I was in Tokyo, I remember seeing ads for the mobile game that has an anime version of Jack Skellington, and it's an interesting take, I must say. Seeing this trailer, I would say that this looks interesting at the very least. Maybe I'll check it out. All right, there you go. You know, and that's the thing is that for me, like, I only checked out a little bit of Twisted Kingdom. Like, I'm not 100% sure. Like, I did hear maybe there might be a few extra dorm synths, or that there are a few extra characters inspired by other Disney movies. But I mean, this is one of those ideas where the possibilities can be as endless as Kingdom Hearts. And by the way, just a side note, we did get some interesting results here. And wow, shockingly enough, not many of you are as enthusiastic about Twisted Wonderland, in which 55% of you who have voted actually said, no, you're not going to go and watch Twisted Wonderland, while 45% of you actually said yes. So interesting. It was almost 50-50, but it's a little bit of the majority of you who are going to pass on Twisted Wonderland. All right, that is interesting to note. What the fridge is? Something is incoming. What the fridge is going on? I just checked and I saw like on my Twitter. Oh, a hype train is already happening. Oh boy. Okay. Oh, a hype train is going on. Oh, this is going to be fun then. All right. Did someone actually did someone become a new fish without me knowing? Just want to, I don't know. Maybe someone did. But anyways, going back to what I was talking about. Oh, Crimson. Oh, you're the one who might have done that. Hey, it's not your fault. Hey, hype trains are a good thing, actually. Anyways, back to what I was talking about. Let's see what else we got here. Oh boy, here's a pessimistic one. Why are we getting weird fan art from Disney when my fan fictions always get rejected by them? And it wasn't like Alan Moore making porn with Alice, Cinderella, Snow White, and Sleeping Beauty. Honestly, I'll stick with Kingdom Hearts' never-ending story over teenage sketches. Dang, bro. Okay. Anyways, going back to some other comments. Okay, here we go. I'll admit that I'm not too big into anime, but I will admit this does look interesting. I really do like the visuals, and it definitely does have Harry Potter vibes, minus the transphobic author, and maybe it will appeal to fans, so we'll see. Also, this technically isn't the first time Disney has stepped into the realm of anime. They previously did it with Lilo and Stitch with that Stitch anime series. That is true, actually. This ain't the first Disney anime in general, and it isn't the first time that we've seen Disney characters become an anime. So this isn't necessarily new, but with Twisted Wonderland, it isn't necessarily a direct adaptation of something. Like with Stitch, it's pretty much if you take Lilo and Stitch, made a few tweaks, and then you made a Stitch anime. It's just that Lilo and Nani are not necessarily as involved, but you do have Stitch as an anime. All right, so what other comments? I think I got one more comment I'll go and read, and then I'll move on to something else, or I'll move on to the next break. That's the something else. Anyways, back to what I was saying here. Disney Isekai? Interesting. I feel like I'll have to see. I feel like it would be a bit of a satirical humor or a bit of a Team Star Kids DNA to make it work beyond these subgenres fans. That said, I also popped in late, so I don't know how much I could say. This could be great or it could be contrived. Honestly, even though you came in late, I kind of feel the same thing as you do, actually. Like, for me, overall, this is a bit of a wait and see. Maybe this could actually work out very well. Maybe it could really grow its audience, and maybe it could be a great solution for Disney, where now that they are pouring in some anime onto Disney Plus and stuff, they could actually get that target audience that they've been lacking so much of to go and, like, check out their stuff. Maybe it could really work out for them, or maybe this could turn out to be a dud. But ultimately, we'll just have to wait and see when Disney Twisted Kingdom the animation premieres on Disney Plus and Hulu on October 29th. All right, so with that said, we're going to go on to our first break, and when we come back, we're going to be checking out another trailer. And with this one, I will admit it's a bit of a last-minute addition. And for the longest time, I thought we would never get a trailer from this, considering that this movie is going to be coming out next Friday. And yet, well, I guess you could say better late than never. So, Is the trailer showing us something promising? Well, we're just gonna have to wait after these messages. All right, welcome back. Now, originally, I was planning for quite a while for this segment to talk about the Frankenstein trailer, specifically Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, in which there was a new trailer that was released, and I figured, okay, well, it is an animation, but considering that I did talk about Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein before, it would be worth a shot to go and discuss about the trailer and see like what new things we will go and see. And especially with the fact that, honestly, I'm personally hyped up for this movie about as much as I am hyped up for Wicked for Good, as well as Zootopia 2. So I thought it would make an interesting discussion to have in here. But on the day that I am recording this, today, Netflix decided to come in with an unexpected surprise. A trailer for a movie that's coming out very soon. As I said before, this is a movie that's going to be coming out next Friday. So they're absolutely late with bringing out a trailer for this movie. Now, what does that mean for the film itself? Honestly, I have no idea. But it just feels like this is just all part of the confusing and convoluted marketing plans with Netflix. But hey, at least we do have the trailer of it right now, so we might as well go and check it out. So, before we ultimately go and check out what this movie is going to be like, let's go ahead and check out the trailer for the upcoming Netflix animated feature, The Twits.
It's a special new kind of spaghetti for my special guy.
The Twits.
And that is The Twits, to which the movie is going to be coming out on Netflix on October 17th. And as I keep insinuating, that's actually going to be coming in very, very soon. Now, there was a part of me that would go and say that, well, considering with how they're trying to manage the marketing of this and how they've been very late with this trailer, maybe this is a sign that Netflix just has no faith onto the movie whatsoever, and maybe this will just come out as a piece of crap. But then again, I said the same thing about K-pop Demon Hunters, and while that was what Netflix did, like they got very lazy with the marketing and they were very late with releasing the trailer of it, it did go on to become one of the biggest movies of the year and easily the biggest movie of the summer. So in that regards, I don't think we can immediately judge it by its marketing, because the marketing is more of an issue for Netflix than their feature films. But going back into the Twits, I'm just going to go and say right now that I'm not really that familiar with the original Roald Dahl story. I am planning to go and actually read the book before actually watching the movie, because, I mean, it is a Roald Dahl story, so it is an easy thing to go and quickly read. So that'll help me to get myself familiar before actually getting into the movie and then actually making my review. But as I stand right now, I have yet to go and get into that process. So already, I'm just not that familiar. The most that I know about the Twits is that it's about these two people that they are ugly, they are terrible, horrible human beings. Like, they're disgusting on the outside and they're wretched on the inside. That's all that I know about the Twits, and that's pretty much it. What happens within the book, like the other characters and all that kind of stuff, that I'm not 100% sure. But when watching this trailer in particular, I will say there are some ideas that I do see where they are coming from with it. Like, I do get the idea of what they wanted to do. Like, one prominent thing that I will say that I understand why they would go and make a movie like this is, first and foremost, this is a movie about love versus hate, where you would get these like hate-filled people with the Twits who are going after these orphans who are just filled with love. And it's basically a story about how love conquers all and that hate needs to be taken down at all costs and stuff like that. Okay, that is a nice message, and especially in this day and age, I do get it. In fact, with the Twits, there's something about them that reminds me a lot of like Twitter trolls that you would go and expect. And especially like one part that makes me think of how they are Twitter trolls, funny enough, it's with, where is it? Like with, it was close to the beginning, like right over here. Like, honestly, who else other than Twitter trolls would want to throw a bowling ball at the screen at the sight of seeing the words, Ralph breaks the internet? Nah, but in all seriousness, though, that's just an indicator to go and say that the movie is directed by Phil Johnston, who used to work at Disney as a writer, where his credits include Wreck-It Ralph, and then Zootopia, and then he also did write and direct Ralph Breaks the Internet. But still, though, that's just one thing that I've noticed, that it feels like, yeah, the Twits have definitely, like, the Twits are like terminally online trolls on Twitter. No, but for real though, going back to what I was talking about, another thing that I will say that does look pretty solid and does show a lot of promise is the personalities of the Twits themselves. There's a part of this that really feels a lot like, it looks more like they're going for a feature-length cartoon, more so than an actual feature itself, where it's basically the Twits versus the orphans, and there's kind of like this Tom and Jerry or Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner type of dynamic, where you see the Twits try to take down the orphans, but they always screw up no matter what, because of their hate and because of their idiocy. And not to mention all the different over-the-top pranks that they would play on each other. Like, I'll admit that it was like, you know, it was cute in a gross way at the start of it, where you see Mrs. Twit handing over a plate of worms to Mr. Twit and try to say like, oh, this is spaghetti. So there is that's going on with the feature. But I will say, other than that, though, like, maybe the animation does seem pretty nice. Honestly, I don't know. And there's a part of me that's unsure if the problem with this is how the feature is going to be, or maybe is because of the trailer itself, with the way that it frames itself. And one thing that I feel like it's a little weird is the way that it goes a little too meta. You know, like, the marketing decides that they want to be a little bit more straightforward with trying to describe what this is. And even like this is especially the case with the bugs, where you got the one bug that's like, what's this story about? And then the other bug, or like the mother bug, if you will, would try to go and describe the entire feature, like as it's trying to give praise for itself, or trying to pitch the movie to the audience. Like, specifically, let me just go back to it. It's like with this part, like, where is it? With yeah, I think it's with, or where is it? It's more like over here, I guess. Yeah, like this. Hold on. Yeah.
What kind of story is this?
Emotionally complex.
You take all the good out of life.
Let me show you my diarrhea.
Like, at that point, I just feel like, okay, that just that sounds like something you would go and try to sell this to executives. You know, you're trying to pitch this movie. Like, it just feels a little bit weird when you're trying to do this in a trailer, when you're trying to sell this to an audience out there, instead of letting the movie itself try to explain what this is. And not to mention, like, even if, like, regardless if it's because of the trailer or if it's because of the movie itself, there is a factor where, like, I don't know, there's just something about it that does feel like it's a little bit too Hollywood made, if you will. like there's like not only do you get a bunch of these like celebrity voices that are in there, but one thing that just made me feel unsure is the MacGuffins of the movie, where you get like these. I honestly just forgot the name of them, even though they just said it. But it's like these, these glowing blue magical monkeys that, yeah, like right over here. Like you got these magical blue monkeys that the Twits want to go and try to grab, but they somehow found their way onto the orphanage, which is why the Twits are, as the trailer says, are at war with the orphans. And from there, like suddenly you hear them talking, and at that point it's like, okay, I don't know, man. Like it would have been more interesting if they were just creatures, but the fact that they would also speak, and like even the parent monkey sounds like, I don't know about you, but like I just want to go and like have a quick listen. Like just want to go and immediately ask, like right here.
It's just something that happens when I get a little anxious.
Like that voice sounds familiar. Like I believe like they mentioned this. Like is that what's his name again? John Malkovich? Like there was a moment where they did show like the credits. Yeah, like you get the names of the different people that are voicing in here. Like you do have like Natalie Portman and Johnny Vega and Johnny Vegas or something like that. But honestly, it like that sounds familiar. I don't know about you, but for me, I just feel like that voice, it sounds familiar. It's like John, or is it John Malkovich? Or I don't know, maybe I'm saying his name wrong. Okay, who's the guy who voiced Spider-Ham and Chip in the Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers movie? I think I messed up that name entirely. John Mulaney. Oh my God, I keep saying John Malkovich. Okay, yeah. That's who I am talking. Yeah, that's who I mean. Wow. I am so sorry for that slip up. Yeah, it's John Malkovich. No, it's freaking John Mulaney. That's the thing. Like, but you guys now understand what I mean, right? Like that parent monkey thing, like he sounds so much like John Mulaney right there. So from there, honestly, it's just like, I don't know. Like there's a part of like, now that I've seen this trailer, now that we are getting a little bit more of an idea of what this movie is going to be, it's just like, it makes me feel unsure of how this feature is going to be. And yet, I don't know if I could go and blame the feature itself, or maybe it's because of the marketing. I feel like watching this trailer, it makes me understand why is it that they've spent so much time, or we haven't seen a trailer or any marketing for it in such a long time. It's because, well, it feels like they don't know how to really craft this trailer. I don't know. It's a weird case where I'm not really sold on the idea of this movie. It doesn't really give me the idea that I want to go and check this movie out. But I don't know if I want to blame the movie itself, or this is just a really poorly made trailer. I don't know. It's either one or the other. But this thing did not give me a good impression of what this movie is going to be. And honestly, I do hope that we are going to be getting more than what it seems in the trailer. Like one major thing that they didn't fully indicate, or that they would go and highlight, is that this is a musical. This is very much a similar case to K-pop Demon Hunters, where there's next to no marketing from Netflix upon this movie, and yet this is supposed to be a musical that they're ready to go and release. And yet, like, maybe we did have a taste a little bit, like, at the start. Like, I don't know if these are, like, songs that are gonna be in the movie, or if these are songs that, they just did it for the sake of the trailer. But it's just, I don't know. There's not much of it that I am sold on this movie, but I feel like I want to go and blame the trailer itself, because maybe there could be something special within the movie itself, similarly to what people have discovered with K-pop Demon Hunters. So I don't know. Ultimately, kind of a little bit similar to my feelings to what we just saw with Disney Twisted Kingdom. This is ultimately going to be a wait and see. But in here, I just feel like it's a wait and see at best, because if the movie is going to be anything like what we just seen in the trailer, yeah, this is not going to be a pleasant experience if that would be the case. But I don't know. Like, I'm hoping that I could be wrong with my intuition or with my feelings with what we have seen in this trailer. And I really do hope that the movie itself can turn out to be much better than what was presented here. So ultimately, we're just going to have to wait just a little bit longer to know what the answer of that is going to be when the movie shall be released on October 17th. And with that said, now I would like to pass this on to the chat wall, and I'd like to ask you all, what did you all think about the trailer of the Twits? Were you a lot more impressed than I am, and you are absolutely hyped for this movie? Does this trailer give you a lot more doubt, and you're unsure of how this is going to be? And you know what? That's what I want to go and ask you. You know, instead of asking if you are going to watch it, I want to go and actually ask you all, did you enjoy the trailer of the Twits? So I'm just going to go and put down yes, and then I'll put down no, and see what you all have to say. Because honestly, I want to know what you all think, and maybe there's something more that you all have seen that maybe I missed out on. So I just want to see right here. What do you all have to say? So next week, there's an advanced screening for the Twits that I'll be attending since 1, I'm a fan of Roald Dahl books, 2, it's directed by Phil Johnson, who co-wrote Wreck-It Ralph along with Jennifer Lee. After seeing this trailer, I think this has some potential to be fun. I like there's some British tone along with it. It's kind of insane that I already got my ticket for the movie next week, and now we're getting a trailer. We need to tell Netflix to improve their marketing team, so yeah. All right, that's fair enough. Let's see. This trailer looks pretty, I don't know. The animation and art style looks cute. Some of the humor is fine, and the voice acting is honestly pretty solid. Other than that, I don't know what to say about them because I'm also unsure. Might be a good film when it comes out, but I don't know. Also, I drew you as a dragon for your birthday. It's on Blue Sky. Yeah, I did see that. That is very cute. Thank you so much, Juju. Let's see what else we got here now. All right. Roald Dahl adaptations have been great lately with the 2022 Matilda and Wonka. So as a fan of the book, believe me when I say, I mean, it's all right. The comedy is fine. Johnny Vegas is a really good Mr. Twit, and the animation is pretty solid. However, the story is on the derivative side. I don't know. I'll still watch it, but I'm not going to expect the same quality as the 2022 Matilda or Wonka. Also, I just noticed all the recent Roald Dahl adaptations have been musicals. Huh. Yeah, that is actually very true. And because I wonder if that trend is still going to keep on going. And I mean, ultimately, that's going to depend on Netflix, considering that they are the ones who actually do own I don't think it's the entire estate of Roald Dahl, but they do have the rights to the works of Roald Dahl. So the next adaptations are going to be from them. So we'll see if this musical trend will keep on going. All right. Let's see what else we got here. I'll be honest. I'm not really familiar with the Twits, considering I've never read the book myself, and I'm honestly on the same boat as you, and I'm unsure how to feel. I'll admit that the animation doesn't look too bad, and it seems like it'll stay true to the book, but the writing doesn't seem like it'll be that strong, so I'm in a wait-and-see kind of attitude. Honestly, I kind of blame the marketing and the lack of it. Also, I'm wondering if Netflix is regretting how they marked K-pop Demon Hunters. Well, not really, because, it's hard to say, because with Netflix right now, like, they're just overly joyed with the success of K-pop Demon Hunters. They're the ones who are reaping in the rewards more so than Sony Pictures. So in that regards, I don't think they're too worried about how they handle the marketing. Because you definitely know that for the next adaptations or for like the next follow-ups like the sequels and the series and stuff like that, they'll definitely do a lot more. And we did get some results here from the poll, and it looks like the grand majority of you actually said no. You were not impressed whatsoever by this trailer, in which 79% of you have actually said that no, you did not like the trailer of the Twits, while only 21% actually said yes. All right, very interesting. At least, like, it's good to know that I'm not the only one feeling this way. All right, anyways, yeah, would it be wrong to say In Your Dream seems more like an appealing feature? Something about this just doesn't seem right. And honestly, if this is just not selling me with anything for the trailer other than the unappealing comedy, in fact, even it's based on Roald Dahl, I don't think it would I would even want to read the book. Oh, dang. So this is like a major turnoff right there. All right, let's see what other comments are there. All right, so let's see. Okay, The Twits, a movie Netflix decided to release the trailer a little under 2 weeks before its release. Better late than never, I guess. But while I'm holding out hope, I'm not sure about this. Maybe if I read the book, then I get a more general idea. And I will admit it looks great, but I'm going to keep my expectations on the medium, as this could be good or this could be as disgusting as The Twits. I mean, really, it could go either way. Let's see now. All right, I haven't read any of the Roald Dahl stories, but this looks fine. I do like the animation since it gives me Mutant Mayhem's vibes, but other than that, I just feel confused about this. Maybe I'll give it a chance when it comes out, but I just don't know how to feel about this right now. You know, you actually do bring up a very good point, and I think that's one thing about the animation that is actually pretty solid. And yeah, I do agree with many of you all that one of the stronger traits of this movie is the animation. And I guess, like, because the animation purposely looks disgusting, it's meant to go and reflect upon the nasty attitude of the Twits themselves. So it does work out in a way, in a similar sense to what they have done with Mutant Mayhem. Although this is not as stylized as Mutant Mayhem, there is a sense of direction where they went in a similar direction. All right, I think I'll read one more comment before we go and move on to our next story. Let's see, which one should I go and read, or that I haven't read yet? Let's see. I think I did read. Yeah, I did read this one. All right, I think I'll go with. Okay, where do I go? Which one shall I choose? Yeah, fudge. I think I've read oh, okay. You know what? I'll go with this one. Finally, it's about time that a trailer of the Twits has shown up. Netflix, why are you so late with trailers to some animated films? The trailer is both cute and weird, but the animation looks cartoony but weird. I am curious to see it when it will be released next week. Lucky that I have Netflix. All right, well, so far we've got some mixed reception, and that's like mixed reception at best from what we have seen so far with this trailer right over here. But if you are interested in checking out the Twits, then keep in mind that it'll be coming out on Netflix next Friday on October 17th. All right, so that shall do it for the trailers, but we are going to go on to our next break. And when we do come back, that is when we are jumping into the controversies. And speaking of Netflix, by the way, that is going to be the first controversy that we are looking into, in which there seems to be a boycott that is going on against the streaming platform. Why is it? Well, you wouldn't be surprised to see that it's actually more for something stupid. So stay tuned, and we are going to talk about that little piece of drama. And now, everyone, it is time that we will go and settle for the rest of the episode to have some tea time. So go and prepare your tea and crumpets, and don't be afraid to be clumsy with your tea, because oh boy, are we going to be spilling a lot, and I do mean a lot of tea. Yes, folks, we are about to get into some heated controversies going on. And oh boy, has there been quite the outrage happening again and again and again in the previous week. Oh man, social media really was on fire. I mean, it's been genuinely on fire like all the time, granted. But in this case here, there have been some selected fires that have been quite fascinating. And this one in particular, oh boy, while there are some things that are pretty serious and they could get into some dangerous routes where it does need to be called out, and I do ask for animation fans to take action to go and help out some creators. There is a part of it, though, that honestly is absolutely stupid. Why is that? Well, you may have heard recently that there has been a Netflix boycott. Why are people suddenly boycotting Netflix? Well, it all started with this particular post right over here. This, of course, is coming from Twitter. Because if there's anything that would stir up controversy, or if there's been outrage going on the internet, then you know one of the first places to go and check is going to be on Twitter. And on Twitter, this actually started out with a post created by self-proclaimed stoic terrorist Libs of TikTok, in which she has made a post by saying, "Oh my God, Dead End Paranormal Park, a show on Netflix, is pushing pro-transgender on children. This show is advertised for 7-year-olds. It is being promoted on Netflix Kids now. Parents beware." To which the post itself was shared by Elon Musk, in which, excuse me, folks, in which he stated, "This is not okay." So, just to go and give you guys a little bit of context, maybe you have recalled that back in the early 2020s, there was an animated series by the name of Dead End Paranormal Park, which was created by Hamish Steele. And from there, it is noted to be a show in which it did get some positive reviews, and it gathered its own audience. And one thing that is noted to be highly praised is its LGBTQ plus representation, in which one of the main characters, Barney, is actually noted to be transgender. But the thing is, though, is that with Dead End Paranormal Park, that was a series that actually got canceled about 3 years ago. So as you can imagine, people like Elon Musk and Libs of TikTok are definitely very late to the party. Or I guess they were easily distracted because they were more focused on Disney, considering that it was around the same time as when Disney was releasing movies that really caused a massive uproar with conservatives, such as Lightyear with the same-sex kiss, or with Strange World. So they were easily distracted while Netflix was putting out some progressive animated projects, such as Dead End Paranormal Park, among several others. But from there, of course, this did grow to become much larger, in which, because of this, Elon Musk did state that he wanted to go and make a massive boycott against Netflix, not just because of Dead End Paranormal Park, but because there have been several shows, whether if they were made by Netflix or they were made by other companies such as DreamWorks Animation, that would show a lot of LGBTQ plus representation. And from there, he declared a boycott against Netflix. So just to go and switch up to my source here on Newsweek, it states right over here, "The existence of a show marked towards children with a trans character has sparked backlash online from high-profile conservative figures. Musk has made multiple posts about the show and claimed that he is canceling his Netflix in response. He shared the Libs of TikTok post, which I have talked about, and in a separate post wrote, 'Cancel Netflix for the quote-unquote health of your kids.' He also shared a post from the account Matt Vanswool, which reads, 'Just cancel my Netflix subscription,' and wrote, 'Same.' So pretty much right now, because of Dead End Paranormal Park, and because of Elon Musk's obsessive hatred against trans people, including his own daughter, he pretty much declared that he wants to make a massive boycott against Netflix as a way to punish them for acknowledging the existence of the LGBTQ plus community. But there is a direction where it did go a little bit dangerous and it did go a little bit serious, considering the violent posts that Libs of TikTok would do, where she would go and encourage her followers to go and make violent attacks and send death threats. And that's just on like the more tamer side of what she would regularly do on social media. But with Libs of TikTok also, she would go and target the creator of Paranormal Park, Hamish Steele, in which Steele himself did make some posts to go and acknowledge the backlash that has happened, in which he did talk about it on his Blue Sky post. So from my source here on Animation Magazine, he did state that seeing what both Libs of TikTok and Elon Musk has stated, he said, it's probably going to be a very odd day. And then he went on to go and continue by making a few statements to which since then they have now been deleted. But Animation Magazine were able to go and save up on the post that he has made before, in which Hamish Steele stated here, I have mostly been very okay, and I found it all quite funny, while really appreciating everyone who has reached out. But the extremely nasty, weird, homophobic, and anti-Semitic emails have started rolling in, and it is just getting a little scary, so I apologize if I take longer to respond to stuff. To which, by the way, on a side note, not only did Libs of TikTok target Hamish Steele on this major hate campaign because of Dead End Paranormal Park, but she also and falsely claimed that Hamish Steele is one of those people who have celebrated the death of the late far-right podcaster Charlie Kirk. To which another post that Hamish Steele has made over here, he has stated, my Instagram comments are now flooded with replies saying I am Charlie Kirk and that I celebrated his death, which I never did. And all I can think of is Evie oddly shouting, what has that got to do with anything? But then, unfortunately, a day later, he made one more post about it and then deleted it, in which he didn't go and actually address the whole thing, in which he has stated here, I will just say today is much, much worse, and I am going to basically be on the down low for the foreseeable. My apologies. So basically, as of right now, I don't know if I could say that this is still going on for him, but in the past few days, Hamish Steele has been getting a lot of violent attacks from far-right social media users, basically for the misinformation that has been spread by Libs of TikTok, and also pretty much attacking him for the same kind of like white Christian nationalist reasons, basically attacking him with homophobia, with anti-Semitism, and all that kind of stuff. So there is a factor where it is damaging and it is harmful, where now creators are being attacked by the far right because of the works that they have done, some of which I would say in the recent past, basically giving the far right an extra excuse to go and be violent in the name of their own neo-Nazi-like ideologies, for the purpose of promoting genocide against the LGBTQ plus community. That is unfortunately what has been going on. So yes, there is a factor that I personally feel like it is pretty serious and kind of scary right now, where now the far right is invading in the territory of animation and now going after creators, mainly because of including whatever LGBTQ plus representation is now featured. I mean, they have always been doing that before, especially when going after Disney with stuff like what I've already mentioned with, with Lightyear and with Strange World. But now they're starting to go after the non-Disney stuff, in which now they're going to be now they are going after not just Dead End Paranormal Park, but they also went after Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, considering that there was a same-sex kiss that was shown in the series, despite the fact that technically that show is aimed more for teens than actually for a young audience of kids. Still, though, they just want to use that to say, hey, it's animation, and like, you know how the far right, you know how Trump supporters are with that mentality of like, animation is a kid's genre. So in that regards, hey, look, there's an animation that is showing two girls kissing, and that makes their mental disorder go completely insane. You know, it's like that kind of entire nonsense. But ultimately, the bigger picture that is being presented here is the fact that with Elon Musk, he is using that as a catalyst to go and promote a massive boycott against Netflix, basically demanding to censor anything that has any LGBTQ plus representation on the platform to make it more friendly and more comfortable for the sensitive conservatives to go and watch it. Now, there has been, of course, with anything related to the far right, there's a lot of misinformation that is being spread about it, saying that Netflix is losing billions upon billions of dollars and that it's been super damaging to them or whatever. And even though with these guys, like, this is something that they would do all the time. They would go and try to boycott against companies, because of a drop from a hat. You know, they would go and like boycott whatever, you know, and like this isn't even the first time this year that they would try to pull a stupid major boycott because of their white Christian nationalist entitlement. But the more that I would go and think about this entire Netflix boycott that they're trying to do, the more I realize that it is an entire joke, and the more pathetic that it actually looks. And the main reason is because it's pretty clear that what they are doing, it is entirely fueled not because of Dead End Paranormal Park, not because of the LGBTQ plus community, but this whole thing is fueled by jealousy. And the far right is just absolutely jealous of what they have seen with the Disney and Jimmy Kimmel controversy. Now, there's a very good chance that if you are listening or watching this, then you know very well about the controversy that recently happened related to Jimmy Kimmel, in which he got temporarily suspended, mainly because of the FCC and Trump's demand, considering that Jimmy Kimmel has been known to be a vocal critic against Donald Trump. But then because of the massive backlash that Disney especially received and the boycott that occurred against Disney and especially Disney Plus, eventually Disney and the third-party affiliates to ABC, such as Nexstar and Sinclair, they ultimately caved and they put Jimmy Kimmel back on TV with no censorship whatsoever. But the thing is that this boycott managed to work extremely well. So much so that Disney is still paying the price. There was actually a recent report in which it was stated that apparently Disney lost around 1.7 million subscribers of their streaming services. Like, not just of Disney Plus, but this also includes like with Hulu and ESPN. And this is something that there's a very good chance that it's going to take them quite a while in order to go and regain those numbers. So it has done a significant amount of damage. And this doesn't even include the damage that the Disney adults have done to Disney, where on top of the Disney Plus unsubscriptions, they would also go and boycott trips to the Disney parks, boycotts to cruises, boycotts to weddings even. So at that point, yeah, we don't know necessarily what the amount that Disney has lost, but it's for sure to say that they have lost millions upon millions of dollars in revenue because of this controversy with Jimmy Kimmel. And all this is entirely fueled because of an anti-fascist movement. Like, this is taking a stance against the demands of Donald Trump, to not let literally everything go his way, to not let Donald Trump or any other company to go and betray the American Constitution. You know, this is a fight for free speech, and again, to take a stance against fascism and a stance against Donald Trump. So seeing this anti-fascist and anti-Donald Trump movement work extremely well, you can imagine that for the Charles Manson-minded libs of TikTok and Elon Musk, oh, they are big mad. They are especially jealous of how well that worked, despite the fact that it goes completely against their own ideologies. So what they want to do is that they want to go and make a boycott of their own against another prominent platform like Netflix. It doesn't matter what the reason may be. Like, they'll just go and pull it out of their ass, even though it seems completely random to get angry and rant about an animated series that was canceled like 3 years ago. For them, they don't care. They know that their audiences are more reactionaries and that they would act before they would think. So from there, they just want to desperately hope that with their Netflix boycott, they want to show that their fascism is a more powerful force than anti-fascism, that their hatred against anything that wouldn't be considered Hitler's master race would be a stronger force than what we have seen against Jimmy Kimmel or with Disney or anything like that. They want to prove that they are stronger than the forces of anti-fascism, which obviously it ain't gonna work. Like, we have yet to hear an actual report that this boycott has actually done some real damage against Netflix, or even the kind of damage that we have seen towards Disney with the Jimmy Kimmel controversy. So overall, this is, like, honestly, looking at this boycott, like, it's honestly absolutely pathetic, because the only people who are getting on board with this are either high-profile conservatives or terminally online conservative trolls, and that's it. Like, we don't have any regular, normal functioning human beings that are also jumping into this because they don't really care. It's literally a non-issue that these people are just making a mountain out of a molehill. However, it is worth noting once again that there is some real damage that is being caused, not on Netflix, but towards creators such as Hamish Steele. And that is the thing that, for me, I feel like is the most concerning, considering that they're the one, you know, it's honestly creators in the animation industry that are ultimately getting the short end of the stick. And now is honestly a great time to go and stand up and to actually go and show your support to these creators who are being targeted by these far-right people. I know that there is a good chunk of animation fans out there that they rather want to use animation as their form of escapism from the sorrows of the real world, and they want to avoid politics at all costs. Whenever the subject of politics would show up, they would say, like, I don't want to be political, I don't want to get into politics, so I don't want to touch it, I don't want to think about it, I don't want to hear anything about it. No. This is the time, however, that if you want to show that you actually do care about creators, if you want to go and prove that your love for animation is more than just consuming cartoons, then this is the time where you got to set your feelings about politics aside to show your support and show your love for these creators. Because now more than ever, these people are going to need it. And I mean, you never know if they're just going to stop, if these far-right people are just going to stop right there, or they're going to keep on continuing to attack more animation people and attack more creators. I mean, thank goodness they have yet to go and check out any of the other LGBTQ plus representation that's on Netflix. Like, thank goodness they have yet to know about the Mitchells versus the Machines and how Katie Mitchell, even though it's quite subtle and like hard to really spot, the fact that she is gay and that she ultimately falls in love with her black girlfriend in the end. Or even something like Nimona that prominently has two guys kissing each other at the end of the film. And it's not like, it's not like a quick little thing like in Lightyear. No, it is like they are obviously smooching and right in front of the camera. Or even with Henry Selick's Wendell and Wild, in which that is another movie or another animated project that has a trans person. You don't know, like the thing is right now is that these people are only going to stop until they face consequences. And ultimately, I'm sorry to say, but in this day and age, especially under Donald Trump, it's hard to know if they will actually face consequences for their violent terrorist-like bigotry. So in that regards, this is why right now I'm asking for animation fans to set their feelings about politics aside and show your support for creators, because now more than ever, they're going to need it. And with the far right, they will try to go and force their neo-Nazi politics onto whatever they can find. And that even includes the animation that you love. So I just want to go and spread that message right there. All right, so with that said, now it is time I like to go and pass this on to the chat wall. And I'd like to know what you all think about this controversy. What do you think about the whole attempt of a Netflix boycott? How do you feel about how Dead End Paranormal Park is being treated? Let me know what you all think. All right, so let's see now. The sad thing is, this kind of moronic backlash might have saved Dead End Paranormal Park if it happened while the show was still airing. There's no such thing as bad publicity, as they say. I'm not surprised that the Chuds are beefing with a long-canceled Netflix cartoon, but that makes it all the more hilarious. I can't help but notice that conservatives have never once raged over Big Mouth. Netflix can have literal animated CP, but have LGBTQ plus representation. Everyone loses their minds. Well, I think the thing with Big Mouth, however, is that it is pretty much clear. Like, it has established itself that it is adult animation. What conservatives are specifically going after is animated stuff that's not aimed exclusively for adults. Like, they don't care much about what's going on with like Rick and Morty or Big Mouth or Simpsons or Family Guy, and would rather put their energy onto something that would be like PG-13, or especially just stuff that's like PG or just G, and then suddenly they would have LGBTQ plus representation or acknowledge the existence of the LGBTQ plus community, which hopefully that can go and explain why they're not doing anything about Big Mouth, but they are doing something about Paranormal Park. All right, let's see here. It's no surprise. It is not surprising that trans rep spooks the alt-right way more than SpongeBob tickling the feet of live-action people at a swimming pool in the Sandy Cheeks movie. Don't these clowns know that their radical obsession with violence is what got Charlie Kirk pretty much get a hole in the neck in the first place? Move over, Wendy Testaberger. The alt-right needs that jelly school way more than you. Trans rights are human rights. Exactly. That's one big message to spread over here. Trans rights are human rights, for sure. Anyways, pardon my language, but F Libs of TikTok, F Elon Musk, and F all the people who have sent death threats towards Hamish Steele. He has literally done nothing wrong except expressing his First Amendment rights to condemn the dangerous ideologies of Charlie Kirk. We are at the point where Christian nationalists are celebrating Kirk than Jesus. I genuinely hope Hamish Steele actually sues Libs of TikTok for defamation. I am dead freaking angry. Well, the thing is that, honestly, Hamish Steele wouldn't be alone. I feel like eventually there should be like a whole class action lawsuit against Libs of TikTok. Like, sue her for everything she got until she is starving in the streets. Considering that she does, like, this is a thing that she does all the time. And that's because you got neo-Nazi billionaires like Elon Musk continuously enabling her again and again. I mean, I know this will sound extremely harsh, but I feel like, honestly, the only way at this point, in order to make Libs of TikTok stop, is for her to get the Charlie Kirk treatment. Like, honestly, what else? Like, if you could suggest another idea, unless like we can forcefully arrest her and like throw her in that alligator Alcatraz, it's hard to know any other options to know what can we do to go and ultimately permanently stop Libs of TikTok. And I know this is going to be a controversial thing that I'm going to say, but you know, the suggestions have to be out there. Let's see now. This is honestly one of the stupidest boycotts I've ever seen. Since seeing people trying to boycott Netflix for these fascist reasons are disgusting. At least with the Disney boycott with Jimmy Kimmel, that was justifiable. But this is stupid, and honestly, I feel sorry for Hamish Steele and hope he is safe and that he doesn't deserve to have to deal with this. Exactly, and I mean, one of the major things that we can do right now, like, as much as we can be angry, the best thing we can do is show our love and support for Hamish Steele. In fact, one thing that could actually help out is to go on Netflix and you can actually watch Dead End Paranormal Park. Show that there is interest for people to actually go and check out that series. I'm not saying to go and make it popular enough in order for it to get renewed, but what I am saying is that, you know, the best thing that you can do right now is to show your love and to show your support for Hamish Steele and for creators who do put out LGBTQ plus representation, like not just Hamish, but also people like Dana Terrence or Vivian Medrano, for example. So just want to go and lay that out there. Let's see, what other comments do we have here? I think I'll go with this. I don't have much left, so I'll read two more comments. So, okay, I have a few choice words for you, but mainly, aren't you a little late to the party? This thing was canceled 3 years ago. I guess you can literally boycott anything at this point. It's honestly stupid that this thing exists in the first place because it's spewed by jealousy, and that's it. Hamish did nothing wrong, and honestly, I think this is the dumbest thing ever. I don't blame you, dude. Let's see now. With all the stupidity of Musk, this is actually homophobia. This is what homophobia looks like, because as someone who was in the Hell of a Boss fandom, I wince at fans who attack people who criticize the show or characters like Blizzo and Stolas and falsely accuse them of bigots when it's anything but. Not only is it a bad argument, but it makes it extremely difficult to call actually homophobia out like this. Yeah, I mean, technically that's another subject altogether, and I know that there is toxicity within the VivziePop fan base. Not VivziePop, but I mean like the fans of VivziePop, where they could be a bit extreme as well, as much as the haters, but that's another subject altogether. But yes, overall though, we can pretty much all agree that this Netflix boycott is absolutely stupid, and more so than ever, like, we need to set our feelings about politics aside in order to help out creators and animators who kind of need it right now. All right, so with that said, we're going to go on to our next break. And when we come back, we're going to go on to the next controversy, in which there is a certain actress who is getting so much backlash from the entire Hollywood system, from actors to unions to agencies. Everybody hates this actress. Why is that? Well, we're about to find out after this. All right, welcome back. Now, when it comes to our next controversy that we're about to get into, we will be discussing about an actress by the name of Tilly Norwood. And apparently, Tilly Norwood is currently the most hated actress in Hollywood. Now, I know that sounds like a major statement to go and say, like, why the fridge is she so hated? Especially with a name like Tilly Norwood, you're probably not that familiar with the stuff that she might be in. So why is she so hated? Is it because of the things that she might have said that would be considered very controversial or extremely offensive? No. Is it because of any political ideologies that she would go and promote, and that maybe this is just another case of like another psychopath like Roseanne Barr or Gina Carano? No. Is it because she is noted to be extremely difficult to work with, and that she as a person is just even more disgusting than the Twits? Well, no. The reason why she is getting so much hate and why she is pretty much condemned by the entire Hollywood system is mainly because Tilly Norwood is not real. She doesn't actually exist. In fact, she is quite literally AI. Yes, folks, the thing is with Tilly Norwood is that she is actually an AI actress that is developed by the company Particle 6 Productions, which labels itself as an AI talent studio. And their big goal with what they want to do is that they want to make AI people who would go on to become actors in the hopes that AI can also create movie stars, that they would take these actors and present them as big name celebrities who could be featured in big name franchises and movies and shows and all that kind of stuff, hoping that the name that the AI is attached to can be part of like their big brand that they would go and promote themselves, promote the technology, and promote whatever they would go and be on. However, once the insinuation of that has been spreading the news and has been going around, there has been some massive, like I said, there's been backlash from just about everybody. Literally hundreds of actors would go and call out Tilly Norwood and the technology behind it, saying that it is a betrayal to their jobs, it is a betrayal to acting, that they do not want this whatsoever, and that audiences do not want that as well. And this is not to mention that apparently these AI talent studios want to go and talk to talent agencies and even some of the big ones out there. And even they are rejecting Tilly Norwood and whatever AI actor they would want to go and promote, mainly because they want to go and say, yeah, we represent humans. We don't represent machines. So even talent agencies are completely rejecting them. But probably the biggest force that is currently rejecting Tilly Norwood and AI talent studios is unions, specifically acting unions like SAG-AFTRA over here, to which they put out a statement against Tilly Norwood and the AI actors that has been going around. To which they have stated right over here, reading from my source from the Hollywood Reporter, it states, the union is opposed to the replacement of human performers by synthetics. To be clear, Tilly Norwood is not an actor. It's a character generated by a computer program that was trained on the work of countless professional performers without permission or compensation. It has no life experience to draw from, no emotion, and from what we've seen, audiences aren't interested in watching computer-generated content untethered from the human experience. It doesn't solve any problem. It creates the problem of using stolen performances to put actors out of work, jeopardizing performer livelihoods, and devaluing human artistry. Additionally, signatory producers should be aware that they make that they make no. Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry, I'm kind of stumbling on my own words, going a little bit into Porky Pig mode. But let me rephrase that. Additionally, signatory producers should be aware that they may not use synthetic performers without complying with or contractual obligations, which require notice and bargaining whenever a synthetic performer is going to be used. So they put out a big statement against this, but they're not the only ones. Then you also have Equity, the acting union from the UK, who also stepped in and condemned Tilly Norwood, in which they went to go and stated right over, no, now that's what SAG-AFTRA said. It's right over here, in which Equity stated, Tilly is not an actress. She is an AI tool, or it is an AI tool. That's not a performer. The company's audio and new media organizer, Shannon Sailing, told BBC's Radio 4 in a clip posted to Equity's Instagram. But what that tool is made up of performers' work, and we are concerned about where that work has come from and if that's been given consent to be used in that way. Equity would go and continue by saying that Equity's General Secretary Paul Fleming told Sky News on Thursday, a computer program has created something fundamentally disconnected from the work of acting, the craft of acting, but also the soul of a human being. We're at the stage in AI where so much data has been used that the original source becomes more and more unclear. And that's something that should worry every viewer, every working person, because that's not really the way our data should be being used. He added that the union had been looking at using GDPR data protection regulations to make demands of companies to find out where the data that goes into these creatures come from, to make sure that there isn't an abuse of our members' work. And hold on, that is not all, because there is another union that did stand up and condemn it, and that's from my home country of Canada, right over here, with ACTRA. Yes, even ACTRA has also condemned Tilly Norwood and AI actors, to which it is stated, right over here, that Tilly's existence is nothing more but lines of code, wrongfully based and programmed from actual human performance. There is no place in our industry and no use in the humanity of art for replacing performers with synthetics. ACTRA rejects attempts to do so. Mary Kelly, ACTRA National Executive Director and Chief Negotiator, told The Hollywood Reporter in a statement on Thursday. She then continued by stating over here, performers are concerned about their craft, their place in the world of entertainment, and their livelihoods. They have always competed against thousands of other performers for work, but are now faced with synthetic competition. Aside from the fact that the synthetic performer doesn't eat, consume goods, pay taxes, or otherwise contribute to our society, they don't engage audiences in using human creativity. So that's pretty much the whole thing with the situation related to Tilly Norwood. It's the fact that now there's a whole AI actress that's going around and trying to get into the Hollywood scene, but obviously almost the entire acting community completely condemns the use of Tilly Norwood and the existence of AI actors like Tilly Norwood. And I want to go and comment this as an up-and-coming actor myself, as someone who is still consistently auditioning day after day in order to find my next opportunity, in order to find like my possible big break out there. And the thing is that looking into the whole Tilly Norwood situation, I gotta say, it is absolutely frustrating. Like, it's already hard enough as is to go and be an actor, or to go hope that you can go and work full time as an actor. That's already a very difficult process as is. Unless you're like a Nepo baby and you can find those shortcuts because of networking and connections and all that kind of stuff, getting into acting is an extremely difficult task that you would have to do. Like, you need some massive persistence and passion if you really want to go and actually be an actor. And not only that, but considering that there are already thousands of people out there, and this is just like thousands of people in the region that you're in who also wants to be an actor, like, there's already a massive challenge in order to go and find another job. So I can say firsthand that it's not easy. And now knowing that there's AI actors that are starting to go around, that honestly is just frustrating and absolutely insulting. It's not just an insult to our craft, but it's also an absolute insult to our livelihood, where now our competition is not even human. it's technically just a bunch of tech bros who are trying to essentially steal our jobs. Honestly, I don't care what the AI talent studio would go and say. I know that the founder of the creators of Tilly Norwood, they would say that their aim is not to replace human jobs and stuff like that. But honestly, how else can you go and describe this? Like, essentially, now, it really is just like these tech bros that are trying to get into our field and trying to take our jobs. And not to mention, this is something that I just got to say that this is a comment that I don't see many people say, but I feel like it should be. But I just want to go and say that, honestly, there is a factor in this with Tilly Norwood here. This is highly misogynistic. The fact that they decided to go with a woman AI actor to get into this. And I mean, like, trust me, like, if it's tough for me, imagine how tough it is for any other marginalized group. I mean, keep in mind, I'm just a cis white straight male. Like, imagine how extra difficult it can be for, like, the LGBTQ plus community, for women, for people of color, for any other religious groups out there. Like, I know that they're having it harder than I am, because even in the acting field, there can be some discrimination. So imagine for women out there now, with the fact that Tilly Norwood is trying to go and compete for the same jobs as them. Like, that just makes it additionally insulting, and it just makes it additionally difficult for them as well. And I know some people could go and say that, well, technically the founder of the AI talent studio that made Tilly Norwood, she is a woman, but let's be real. Most of the people who would go and make Tilly Norwood, they're dudes. So it's literally, it's not just tech bros taking jobs away from actors, they are taking jobs away from women. So that's why there is that extra layer of just absolute misogyny that is going on with Tilly Norwood. And on top of that, there is also this extra layer of stupidity that is going on, because you can honestly really tell that the marketing for Tilly Norwood is paid off. Like, it is shameful to see news outlets in which it was obviously rigged in the favor of these AI companies, that they were obviously paid off to go and say that, oh, Tilly Norwood is great, she's going to change up Hollywood. Like, there are some articles that try to go and argue about the Oscars and thinking about, oh, should we add an AI category for Best Actor and Actress? Or they would go and put up some stupid things. In fact, I actually got a couple of examples of these rigged and paid off articles that would try to go and promote Tilly Norwood. Like, here's one example. This is actually from the NPR, in which this title actually says, "Could the next Scarlett Johansson or Natalie Portman be an AI avatar?" And here we have a picture of Tilly Norwood, which obviously is AI generated. And yeah, like, obviously, on top of the fact that it is shocking to see that it's freaking NPR actually promoting this, but with a stupid title saying that the next big name actress is going to be some AI that's generated by code, is already ridiculous enough. But possibly the most infamous example out there, probably the worst article that has ever been written to try to promote Tilly Norwood, is actually from the Free Press, in which obviously it's heavily biased for Tilly Norwood, but it would say, "My favorite actress is not human" by Tyler Cohen. Like, already that's a title that's so stupid as is, considering that how could you say she's your favorite actress when she hasn't appeared in anything yet in terms of like big movies or big shows or whatever? But it gets worse. This is what it says right under the title, and this weird, stupid AI generated thing of Tilly Norwood dressed up as Xena Warrior Princess behind this giant monster that's kind of like a humanoid toothless. But here's what it says here. Tilly Norwood doesn't need a hairstylist, has no regrettable posts, and if you wish to see a virgin on screen, this is one of your better chances. That's because she is AI. Boy, what the fridge is that comment? Like, honestly, what normal functioning human being would go and say, if you wish to see a virgin on screen? Who in their right minds would go and say that? Honestly, when I go and watch a movie, I don't think to myself, oh boy, I better hope there's a virgin that's going to be showing up here. Why? Like, honestly, that is honestly the most incel thing that you could ever say. Like, if there is someone out there who would unironically wish to see a virgin on screen when talking about a young actress, for example, then you know that those are the kinds of people that they are legally not allowed to be at a certain distance from a school, okay? It's like those kinds of creeps that should not be allowed. Like, honestly, I am honestly shocked of the fact that not only did someone write this, but I wonder with the free press, are there like editors? Like, did this have to go through layers of people to go and say like, oh yeah, no, this works. This is fine. Like, why? Who would say, like, why would anyone think that this is okay? This is so dumb, man. But obviously you could tell the kind of people that is trying to attract with this kind of thing, obviously it's the worst kind of people. And not to mention, by the way, just to go back into that incel mindset, like, honestly, even when looking upon Tilly Norwood with how she is generated and with the way that they built this, woman per se, like, you could tell that they're trying to create this AI fantasy. You know, they're trying to create this incel fantasy of what a woman should look like. That this is basically designed to be a woman meant to be appealing to like incels and those kinds of creeps that are supportive of AI and stuff like that, you know, like the kind of people that shouldn't have internet access, I guess you could go and say. Like, honestly, like, yeah, honestly, like, the more I look at Tilly Norwood and like the kind of intentions with what people, you know, with the way that they want to go and promote her as an actress, the more like it just really creeps me out. So overall, yeah, honestly, as an actor myself, you bet I am completely against Tilly Norwood and just the whole concept of AI actors in general. It's so ridiculous with the fact that we literally went through an entire strike back in 2023. Like the entirety of SAG-AFTRA, they went on strike for this legit purpose, to go and clarify that they do not want their jobs to be stolen by AI. And here are AI companies doing exactly that, creating AI actors that are solely made to go and take opportunities away from actual people. So honestly, I'm glad to see that we are seeing a lot, like hundreds of actors, we're seeing talent agencies, and we are seeing unions be completely against AI. Because honestly, like, if there is something, because I'll even say right now, if there is a movie or there is a series out there, then they would try to go and promote that they're using an AI actor to make this, then honestly, I am not watching it whatsoever. I refuse to go and consume that thing. The only, like, honestly, at best, the only things that I can imagine Tilly Norwood is going to appear in is just going to be on those non-union conservative movies. Like the type of garbage that you would find in either, made by either like the Daily Wire or Breitbart, or maybe in those like cheap, stupid Christian movies. Like at best, maybe she'll appear in some garbage made by Angel Studios or whatever. That's it. But anything made by the major studios or anything like that, it is never going to happen. Trust me, with the way that actors feel about AI and especially something like this, we need to make sure that Tilly Norwood or any other AI actor or any talent AI studio does not succeed in their business, because this is our jobs on the line, and those AI companies are trying to replace actors with machines. So with that said, now I would like to go and pass this on to the chat wall, and I'd like to ask you all, how do you feel about Tilly Norwood and AI actors trying to come into the scene? I would love to know what you all think about this matter. If you either support or are against this, let me know what you all think. All right, so let's see. Wow, even Influencer Smurf had more integrity than Tilly Norwood. This actress is a vacuum. Literally nothing to suck in aside from saving money for desperate executives. Tilly isn't even worthy of a Razzie for worst actress, in which I hope the Golden Raspberry Foundation ain't that stupid to give a nomination to it. But then again, the Golden Raspberry Foundation is not really looked upon well. Like, we're pretty much at the point where the concept of the Razzies is just not great. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised for one or the other. It would be cool if they would condemn AI, but at the same time, honestly, it would not surprise me if they would go and like try to unintentionally promote AI for the sake of like mocking them or laughing at them, like giving AI the attention it wants, even if it is negative. Let's see, what other comments are there to read? This honestly makes me angry. Seeing an AI company trying to create an AI actress is flat out wrong and disgusting. Seriously, have we learned nothing from those strikes from a couple of years ago? Honestly, I'm at the point where I just want to see the AI bubble burst, so this trend can finally end and we'll see AI have the same downfall as NFTs. Man, I am hoping so as well. I mean, they'll probably still create like these new convoluted ideas with how terrible AI is. But at the same time, some people are also saying that we are starting to see the bubble burst and that we are seeing companies paying the price, where we see them literally spending billions upon billions of dollars. And not to mention, like, considering one recent thing that did happen with EA being bought out by a Saudi company that is connected to Jared Kushner for like $55 billion. And they're saying that, oh, don't worry, we'll make our money back by using AI to replace all these different jobs and save ourselves money. But already the entire gaming community is mourning at the loss of EA. We know that in like 5 years' time, give or take, EA is going to go completely bankrupt and it's just going to sell for parts. Like, we know the doom is already there. It's just a matter of when, matter of these billionaires and executives, when they're starting to notice, or when they're finally going to face accountability for their desperate push for AI. Let's see now. Tilly Norwood sounds like something you would see in the Twilight Zone episode. These creeps that make AI crap like this may be one of the creepiest people out there. I feel like they made Tilly all because they want to pork on a teenage actor, which is gross, obviously. Glad to see the whole industry, including SAG-AFTRA, are calling this BS out. We want real actors making art, period. If I want to be with a fictional character, I'll stick with Elsa and Zoe from K-pop Demon Hunters. At least they were made by real artists. Yeah, you know what? You actually pointed to something that's the thing that creeps me out. That's the thing. Like, with Tilly Norwood, she looks like a teenager. Like, this is made by creeps who want, like, honestly, it all makes sense. The factor, like, they want to promote that, Tilly Norwood is a virgin. And the fact that they made her, like, really young, where, yeah, she does look like a teenager, it really does sound like one of those, like, one of those shad excuses. They basically want to find a reason to go and be horny for a teenage girl without actually being horny for a teenage girl. It's basically, it's almost like we're seeing this, it's like this unexpected comeback of Shadman in a sense. It's like that kind of logic right there. All right. Let's see. What other comments here? Yikes on a pike with a trike. I almost feel bad for Tilly. Well, excuse me? Let me make this clear. I don't feel bad for the people who made her. There is no merit in bringing an AI actress like the promotions from these outlets are. Like, are we back in the 2000s? I agree with you about the misogyny because it is the ultimate fantasy woman. Well, maybe ultimate fantasy woman to some people who are under a police watch list. They could change how she looks. She is not a real person. She doesn't have a real personality. She could be ideal what the user wants. I'm sorry you haven't had look. You haven't had look with women in inches. But this isn't the way. Oh yeah, especially. I'll read one. I think I got time for one more comment, and then we're going to go into our next break and the final story. Let's see. Yeah, okay, I'll go with this one, actually. Is this what our society has become? What kind of world are we living in when AI is just taking all sorts of media? I mean, are we robots? I can hardly believe this is real in itself. Since what you said sounds like some kind of plot of an Avengers movie. In fact, hey, Ultron, we found out you have a daughter. That's how ridiculous it sounds. Like we're all consumed by stuff you'd find on DeviantArt. All I ask is I hope the world has humanity to shut it all down. Hey, at least if you want to see some good humanity, then look at how the actors are reacting. I mean, as an actor myself, I am condemning this. I mean, like, I am fighting for humanity over here, so I'm just saying. But yeah, honestly, there is that silver lining that we do see almost everyone in the acting industry is calling out on this. And hopefully this whole plot of AI actors and actresses and Tilly Norwood is going to go nowhere. Oh, excuse me. I almost choked up there. But anyways, we got one more break to go into, and then we're going to get into our grand finale, where we are going to be looking into our final controversy. To which, in this case, we're going to go back into some YouTube drama. But unlike last time, in which I talked about Gerard the Completionist on his path to getting a second chance, we are going to be looking into the epilogue of one of the biggest controversies of the cartoon community, which is the Saberspark controversy. But this is not about Saberspark. It's about one of the accusers, so stay tuned for that. And now, everyone, it is time that we are going to go and finish this episode off with the grand finale. And for this grand finale, we got one more piece of controversy that we're going to get into, and that is controversy on YouTube. Now, in the last episode, I did talk about one major controversy that happened in the recent past, which is in regards to Gerard the Completionist, in which after a long period of time since he received the major backlash from allegedly, or well, technically, because of what happened with his family's charity, the Open Hand Foundation, he had since made a video in which he addressed the entire controversy and has made apologies for his contribution to the entire mess and to the Open Hand Foundation. While it wasn't a great apology video, I will say that it was something in which that is putting Gerard in the right track to go and have a second chance, to be on the road of redemption where, you know, he can finally put all that behind him and that he can move on being known as the fun-filled completionist. So in that regards, maybe I'll still need to wait a little bit to find like the forgiveness of like what has happened, but he is on the right path. He is doing a good thing with that. But this is not about Gerard, of course. What I am talking about is one of the biggest YouTube controversies that has happened this year, and that is with the Saberspark controversy. Now, if you are watching or listening to this, then you're probably familiar with what has happened, especially when I have definitely talked extensively in this podcast about what has happened and the outcomes, and commenting on some of the other videos that people have made about this particular subject. Now, the good news of all this, if you guys don't know, is that Saberspark has managed to prove his innocence. He has provided the receipts to show that he is not in the fault here. In fact, he is actually more of a victim in this entire situation. And now he is completely out of the picture of this controversy. And now Steven is happily living happily ever after. And I do mean that, considering that not long after he has proven his innocence, Steven actually got engaged. So in that regards, I just want to go and give out my big congrats to Steven and his now fiance. And I wish both of them the best of luck. And I do wish all the happiness for them in their personal lives. So great on Saberspark for having that great milestone and for achieving that beautiful happiness. But this ain't about Saberspark, though. Of course, you don't want to hear me talk about Saberspark and how things are going great for him. You want to hear me talk about one particular person who has re-entered the scene and tried to explain herself about what's going on. I'm talking, of course, about one of the accusers, the one who initiated this controversy, of course, and I'm talking about ILoveKimPossibleALot, to which you may also know as KP. Now, as you guys probably know, ILoveKimPossibleALot is the one who actually started this whole controversy by releasing a video in which initially accused Saberspark of sexual assault against a young girl who turned out to be Emu Emmy. But that video right now is completely infamous and is now regarded as one of the worst, or possibly the worst call-out video in history. Something in which she tried to build up for like 6 months, and it turned out to be an absolute disaster. But it wasn't until recently in which KP actually put out a video called Let's Talk, in which she addressed the controversy that has happened, the backlash that she has received, and the video itself, along with the updates of the entire controversy. And from there, KP did manage to hold accountability and apologize for some of the things that she has done. And what she apologized for is in terms of the tone of the video, considering that she kept on making light on some serious allegations that she has made upon those including Saberspark, DA Games, and Chris Aficionado. And from there, she also apologized to some of the people that she dragged into this entire mess, including some of the alleged victims of those people like DA Games. So, okay, so she made an apology of her own. She did address some of the issues about what she has done in the past. Now, with that said, though, did this apology work? Well, if you take a look at the ratio of what has been said here, or the ratio of her video, in which it has gotten almost 200 likes compared to about 1,900 dislikes, yeah, it turned out to be another absolute disaster. Because the thing is, the reason why people are still angry at KP and why is it that they are not accepting this apology video is mainly because what she is apologizing for is only a fraction of where she went wrong. Because the thing is that Kate, like, despite trying to hold accountability for those minor things, she did not apologize to the core issue about all this, or she did not apologize for the core issue of this entire controversy. She did not apologize to the people that she accused. Like, she didn't apologize to DA Games, she didn't apologize to Saberspark, and she didn't apologize to Chris Aficionado. In fact, she actually doubled down on what she has stated before. She is still trying to frame those guys as the villains of this entire story. Like, still trying to say that, no, the accusations are actually true. These are bad people. You know, they did these horrible things. And not to mention that there's also, like, other major screw-ups that KP would do in here. Like, one of the things that she has received massive backlash is that in the infamous video, she would actually show fan art that actually depicts CP. And stupidly enough, though, she decided to go and show those artworks again on this video. So it's kind of amazing that to this day, you could still find this video online and it's not even flagged because it broke community guidelines, which is absolutely ridiculous. And not to mention that right at the end of it, she would go and have a discussion about we need to do something as a society because we all did something wrong. Like, essentially, in a way, KP is still trying to go and paint herself as the victim and that she wants everybody who was involved in the controversy to hold accountability as much as she does, thus prompting her to go and make a we live in a society type of content. No. This ain't your Joker origin story here, Rachel. In fact, I'll even go and say that what you're pulling off here, this is pretty much your Joker folie à deux. In fact, like ever since your call out video, it's been an entire Joker folie à deux for her. And I just want to go and make a statement, just a bit of a refresher. Yes, I did interact with KP in the past. In fact, I've even made a few videos with her in which there was one video that me and her, we have done that is related to Anastasia and Thumbelina. And not to mention, I did bring her on board as a guest on this podcast. However, since then, like when the controversy began, like right when like she posted that video and got massive backlash, like at first I wanted to be supportive to her, considering that I was an acquaintance and, you know, just wanted to go and help out. But then over time, I started to learn more and more about the entire controversy with KP and like what she has done with this whole video. And that's when I eventually learned that, okay, she's pretty much a lost cause, which is why I completely cut my entire ties with her. And I don't mean like what she stated, like, oh, I'm only cutting public ties with Courtney P. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, I am cutting all ties, private and public ties with KP. And those videos that I've mentioned, I've pretty much unlisted them. You cannot find them on YouTube anywhere else. So I just want to go and make my clarification that yes, even I have completely separated ties from KP, even though some people could say I'm a little bit late to it. At least it's better late than never. And at least I do acknowledge now the toxicity of KP and what she has been doing over the years, not just with this controversy, but with some of her own skeletons in her closet, with the fact that she would be, you know, with the way she would poorly treat her editors and not even pay them and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, right now, even with this response video, things have just been from bad to worse with what she has been doing. And it's honestly kind of insane to see that KP is still going out there, still trying to claim that, that they're still, that Saberspark and DA Games and all that kind of stuff, that they're still the villains, that they're still the bad guys, that they should be held accountable. And by the way, just a quick side note, I know that I am not the first to go and comment on this particular video, and that there have been some others like Anthony Gramuglia and even Mr. Enter who actually did comment on the video and calling out how this response, that this apology video is pretty much bad and that all that's missing is just KP playing a ukulele. Like, it's pretty much that bad in terms of trying to make an apology video and like not really holding accountability to her actions. But anyways, as I was saying, honestly, come to think of it, like, yeah, even though, like, she did hold herself accountable to certain few, like, minor things, like, it is true that with KP, like, she can be quite stubborn in that she can see things exclusively black and white. Like, I look back at the previous, the last time that I talked with Rachel, and it was at the moment when I still thought, like, hey, it's okay, KP, you could get through this, like, it'll take some time, but like, like as long as you do the right thing, you could go and heal up. But as we were talking about this entire situation, I remember that in her perspective, she still sees like DA Games and Saber as like the complete villains in all this. Like, she still believes that the accusations are like full on true. And that she even asked me to go and help out to seek justice for the victims. Like, she didn't I made it clear to her that I just want to figure out the truth of the matter, but for her, it doesn't matter. She just wants justice because she thinks she's right and that what the victims have actually said is actually true. And it's kind of crazy where after all these months, she still believes of what Emu Emmy says is actually real. Despite the fact, like, she even addressed on the whole factor that with Saberspark, technically he is more of a victim of this, considering that Emu Emmy actually lied to Saber about being pregnant and actually did a baby scare just to go and still have Saber in her life. And in that regard, shockingly enough, KP would actually go and defend Emu Emmy. Like, it was it's a long segment where she would go and discuss about the pregnancy scare, but she would still be antagonizing Saber on that matter. And honestly, I just want to also go and comment that one of the weirdest things about this entire video of what she would do is when she would go and tell Saberspark, "Sorry, Saber, I'm just not that into you." Like, no joke, she would actually go and say, "I'm not that into you," as if like somehow Saber is still obsessed with KP, despite the fact that like dude has completely moved on from like everything. He has moved on from the controversy. He has moved on in the subject of love, where like now he is engaged to his fiancée, and he has moved on from you. Like, in that regard, honestly, that's where it gave me a little bit of a clue that maybe, just maybe, KP might be projecting. That honestly, like, I don't know how true this could be, but like, honestly, making that kind of comment of like, "No, I'm just not that into you. I know that you want me. I know that you think I'm sexy, but I'm just not that into you in that way." Like, honestly, that just sounds like projection, where KP might still have some feelings for Saberspark. And even if there are not feelings like that for Saber, what's obviously clear is that KP still has very strong feelings, even if they are massively negative. Because what has been proven before with people like Mr. Enter, and especially with From Cope and Seethe, is that KP is someone who has a very problematic grudge problem. She is able to hold on to a grudge for years, if not decades. So honestly, it does explain how she can go and hold on to this grudge, that she still highly antagonizes people like Saber and DA Games and Chris Aficionado, and that for her, what she wants more than anything else, it's not actually to go and seek justice. She desperately wants those guys to be canceled, where she felt like she was personally wronged by those people, and all she wants more than anything else, more so than to seek justice, is for those guys to be canceled, regardless of what is considered to be the truth or not. And that's why we have this video in which she's still antagonizing those guys and still on the side of Emu Emmy, still painting herself and Emily as the victims in this. And the crazy thing is that she's not the only one doing that, because there's also another accuser of the Saberspark controversy, whom they're kind of in a similar position, that they're still antagonizing the people that they hate in order to try to paint themselves as the victim. And who I'm talking about is Bonk of the account Brony Fan Don't. If you guys don't know, Bonk is another user in which they also initially put out the allegation that Saberspark had, quote unquote, sexually assaulted someone. But from there, considering that there was a massive blowback, which now it's proven to be untrue and stuff like that, Bonk, has pretty much not been handling the backlash well. In fact, it is actually well known that Bonk is clinically unwell. He is seriously mentally unstable. In fact, in a desperate attempt to dodge accountability for screwing up the entire situation, and that he wrongfully accused Saberspark, he unfortunately tried to take his own life. Now, thankfully, it didn't actually happen. That attempt actually failed, thank goodness. But still, though, it does show that the dude is not mentally well to go and use the internet. And he recently made some posts where he still tries to paint himself the victim, and that he still has that same kind of unhealthy grudge, just like KP, in which he stated here, "It bothers me a lot that people like Enter and Lazy were genuinely driven only by views, and in the process crossed any lines they felt like without a single care. That Anthony, specifically Anthony Gramuglia, prides himself on being there for people who were abused, while only being a drama hound who helps abusers. KP is not a good person. She threatened and threw Emmy and everyone else under the bus the moment she was worried public sentiment didn't side with her in the hopes of saving her own channel. But the people using her as content have always been worse. They just aren't as easy to laugh at. I don't know what to do anymore. Everyone is hurting still. Random people think it is great that they are and cater to it. Black Griffin and Saberspark have destroyed so many lives, and too many people were happy to help." So essentially, this is Bonk's desperate attempt of trying to paint himself as the victim and still spreading that misinformation in regards to Saberspark and the allegations towards Black Griffin, in which this is a clear sign that someone seriously needs to cut the internet cord off of Bonk. This clearly shows that he is still mentally unstable, that he is still highly incapable of holding accountability. And if I want to go and just say something about Anthony here, the dude, of course he did nothing wrong, and all he did is actually called out the bad faith actors like KP, and not to mention Bonk himself as well, considering that he was also part of the group who tried to manipulate the evidence to try to paint people like Saberspark look bad. And just like with KP, for him, his goal is not to go and save the victims. He obviously just wants people to be canceled. He just wants to destroy people like Black Griffin and Saberspark. He doesn't care if the allegations are true or not. He just desperately wants to see people like Black Griffin and Saberspark destroyed. And the only advice that I could give to Black Griffin is whatever medication you're taking, you need to go and up your dosage. And seriously, you need to cut yourself off of the internet, because clearly you're not stable enough to go and run any social media account out there. But to go back to the thing with KP, the thing is that what's really ruining ILoveKimPossibleALot is not the fact that she cannot hold herself accountable. It's not the fact that she is incapable of apologizing. I know she can. But the thing that is really screwing her over, what's really destroying her life, is her grudge problem. It's the fact that she has serious anger issues and that she just cannot let go of her grudge against people like Saber or DA Games or Chris Aficionado or anything like that. And that is what is driving her from keeping herself away from truly holding herself accountable from this whole mess. It's what's keeping her away from apologizing or acknowledging what she has done wrong in all this. And the only thing that I want to say at this point, I want to go and address this to Rachel. Chances are, I don't know if KP is actually going to listen to me, to what I have to say to her. But I just want to say, Rachel, there actually is a way that you can get a second chance. If you want to get yourself out of this entire mess, if you hope that your reputation can actually be saved, there is one thing that you can actually do. You have to, at minimum, apologize to Steven. You have to go and acknowledge that what you did to Steven was wrong and that you got to apologize. Because let's be honest, with this entire thing right over here, this is not about the allegation that Emu Emmy made against Saberspark. It's not the fact that he is allegedly, or what's proven to be false, that he is a sexual abuser. It's none of that at all. What you're angry about is what Steven did to you personally. Now, whatever the frigid may be, you still have problems with him because of that aspect. And whatever he did to you like all those years ago, you got to learn to move on. You got to learn to let that go. Because obviously, the more you try to take him down, the more you want revenge for whatever he did to you, the more it's going to backfire on you again and again and again. And you're not realizing the harm that you're doing to yourself and the harm that you are doing to others as well, especially to actual victims of sexual assault. Because basically you're being an example of what incels are saying about sexual assault and stuff like that. Like, oh, it's just women just making up things. Like, you're trying to prove them right with your grudge against Saber. And keep in mind, again, I am saying this at minimum. Like, I'm not even factoring in that you also have to apologize to DA Games and that you got to apologize to Chris as well. You got to go and acknowledge that. You need to go and let go of it. That's the only thing that's holding you back. That's the only thing that's currently ruining your life. You can't keep moving on with this kind of grudge. You want a second chance? You want to hope that things can be better? You want to prove to people that you can actually be a good person? You got to apologize to Saber. You got to apologize that you were wrong about him, that the allegations were false, and that whatever petty grudge you may have, you got to let that go. You got to address why you're actually upset with Steven, and you got to go and say sorry to him. Like, I don't care if it's like freaking private or if you got to do a public thing or whatever, but if you want to prove that you are actually a good person and that your grudge is not a serious issue, then you got to learn to apologize. And the same thing goes to freaking Bonk as well. If you want to use if you want to prove that you're not an absolute clown, if you want to prove that you're not an absolute clown, and if you want to prove that you're not as bad as what you accuse of Black Griffin or Saberspark or Terror Strong or whatever, you also got to go and apologize and acknowledge that you are wrong as well. So that's honestly the whole thing that I want to go and address with this entire situation. Honestly, like, it's ridiculous how we somehow have an epilogue with this entire story, but I just figured I want to go and address this whole thing and even like have, to spread my message to KP if she ever hears it. All right. So with that said, we don't have much time left, but I want to go and have a quick chat with the chat wall in terms of what you all think about this entire controversy and what you think about KP's Let's Talk video. And if you have seen it, I would love to know what you think. All right, so let's see here. I'll be honest, I actually watched KP's videos for curiosity's sake, and it was absolute cringe. Seriously, the fact that it basically feels like she is not sorry for anything she did to Saber because she has a petty grudge against him is just embarrassing. Seriously, at this point, I think her reputation is pretty much dead. Not to mention the response made by Mr. Enter, and even Cartoon She made a comment about it too. Yeah, basically, I did see, apparently, KP dragged Cartoon She under the bus, by mentioning his video of calling her out. And he even wrote in the comment, is like, what did I do? Why am I here? All right. Anyways, As I said before, I watched the video in full when it came out and it sucked balls. It's so happy and hilarious seeing people blasting her response video. The amount of distrust against KP is monumental. I watched C's newest video where he got the original draft of the apology. It's even worse, I could tell you that. But yeah, KP, you're done. You have no grace, no more, now that you're a big joke. She could just be called I Love Grudge a Lot. All right, let's see now. I'll be honest here. I never watched any of KP's videos since she didn't interest me, honestly. I just don't watch that many online reviewers nowadays since it's becoming less and less for me. Don't worry, Matt, I still watch you. But after this whole mess about her, I'm glad I never did watch her, and I have no remorse for her whatsoever. I'll just stick to better people in the animation fandom like you, Animated Antic, and Danny Bauman, in which I'm good buds with. Honestly, I need to check out Danny Bauman. Honestly, I'm curious about who this fellow is. Let's see what else we got here. No, I already read that one. She made a video about her mistakes. That's good, but did she apologize? Nope, not at all. Like, come on, move on and focus on improving life rather than going after YouTubers. I unsubscribed Saberspark because of his thumbnail video on Elio, but it's not good to accuse him of fake evidence and seeking justice. By the way, your next Animat Plays live stream should be Shantae Half Genie Hero from Way Forward. Okay. Well, honestly, I will think about that in terms of the next Animat Plays. But yeah, like, honestly, say what you will about Saberspark as a creator, but honestly, as a person, I can speak for myself. The dude is honestly chill. Like, yeah, I have my personal issues with Saberspark's videos, but when it comes to the guy, you're not going to hear me have any complaints whatsoever. He's an awesome dude. I am glad of the success that he has done, and I'm really happy for him with the recent engagement that he has gotten. So just want to lay that out there. All right, and I think with that said and done, that should do it for this episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. Thank you all so much for joining me on this wild episode. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe this one might end up with some controversy. Who knows? But for real, though, I just want to say thank you all so much for joining me on this. And if you want to go and follow for more AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast, then don't forget to go and subscribe to the AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast YouTube channel, or the AniMat's or my Twitch channel at Animat Live. So don't forget to subscribe me to go on those. At the same time, if you are following me on whatever podcast service you're listening to, whether it be on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, or more, then don't forget to go and follow me there too. But with that said and done, I would like to say thank you all so much for listening. Thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, see you later, dudes.